Guys, it's Friday and there's a brand new Emax release. This is a follow-up to the CineHawk series, which you guys saw a while back on the channel. It's a 3.5-inch Cinewhoop version of a CineHawk. And they decided to create something a little more versatile, something that you could compact in your luggage a little easier. Say you wanted to go on a trip and take one little type of FPV drone with you that will do cinema and freestyle. And they created the CineHawk Mini, and that one came out today. It flies a 4S 850 on here. It'll get up to about 7 minutes flight time. You can get it without a VTX and a camera, with a kit only version, and you can get it with the DJI O3 on board, and then you can record 4K at 60 frames per second, and also use onboard DVR and onboard storage footage if you want to on an SD card, which is also nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire mine up today with a 4S 750 milliamp battery. I have some beta FPV ones laying around. I just decided I'm gonna go rip with those. So first I want you to see it flying indoors, and then we'll do a little outdoor flying as well. Some actual freestyle with this quad, because I've talked about these Avon props before. They're great. They're like skateboard wheels. They're super durable, and the frame itself, it feels on the chintzy side, and we'll get into that a little bit later. It feels super lightweight, flexible on the prop guards, carbon fiber unibody here, and inverted motors again on this one. But the inverted motors are not really holding this one back too much, because the 4S power, the power to weight ratio on this one's like 10:1. So it makes a really nice flyer, and I didn't get any tumble or weird Cinewhoop wonkiness from the flight controller, which is really great. So I'm gonna push it today in my review. We're gonna push it indoors and we're gonna push it outdoors and see how it stacks up to something like the HDLRC Talon, which is a 2.5-inch Cinewhoop that I reviewed a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week. I don't know. I have quadnesia, like I always say. So I think that this one, in comparison to the Talon, if you're wondering how they compare, this one's more versatile. It will do a lot more freestyle, and it's pretty awesome indoors too. So you can slow them way down, or you can really rip this one. So a little bit more versatility than something like the Talon. Just kind of feels like you're flying a 3-inch or 3.5-inch with this little quad, even though it's 2.5-inch. Let's go ahead and fire it up now. And I'm fired up about this one because this is probably my most versatile and fun quad that I've flown this year. Little CineHawk Mini. Here we go, let's do some ripping.
Together, finding you was a missing part.
All right, guys, this is the box that you get. They do say on the website you can bring your own VTX version, costs around $160 to $180. If you want to add whatever VTX you want to add on there, whether it's the 03 or the Cadex Vista or Walk Snail or whatever. If you want to add analog, you can do that too. You can also get the DJI 03 version, which should be in the $399 range. The DJI 03 version without the battery weighs 145.3 grams, so no need to register that. When you put a 4S 850 on there, that still has you under 250 grams at 235 grams total takeoff weight. Now the quad itself, people were commenting when they saw this, when I was flying it in public, that it had some really lightweight prop guards on the outside of it, and they are hollow on the inside. They have quite a bit of flex to them, and in a way they feel like a cheaper grade of plastic. However, what's kind of amazing about this whole quad is, yeah, it feels like all this super thin, kind of chintzy style plastic, but it's really durable. It doesn't have any high gloss finish on it. It's kind of a matte finish. It's nothing super fancy, but I think what we're going for here is like maximum durability and cheap parts replacement cost. The wheelbase on this quad is 108 millimeter. It is a Cinewhoop inverted motor style. It does have 1303 4500 kV motors on there, and they are brand new from Emax. They just came out. The approximate weight they say is around 150 grams, which we said even with the 850, it's still under 250 grams, which is kind of cool. The ESC and receiver on here, I have an ELRS receiver. The Emax F405 is the flight controller, and 20 amp ESCs on here. Now, if we look inside this hatch right here, you can see there is a USB-C port right inside there on the carbon frame if you need to access the flight controller. It has a little bit of a battery bed right here for some 3M sticky right there on the surface, and it has full-size grommets on this system right here, which this system is pretty neat to me because guess what? The entire top plate floats on the grommets, which gives it a lot more stabilization for the camera. If you're using Rocksteady 2.0, you probably won't even see any type of vibrations at all. And you can see that carbon body uniframe right here. It does have beveled edges. It does appear to be kind of mildly polished. There are 3 bolts on each of those 1300 series motors, and reducing 1 bolt just reduces a little bit of weight. We got a capacitor back here, XT30 on the battery connector, and we've got plenty of tilt up front for the camera. And it appears that this long body design right here that's sitting on the grommets is all one piece. So if we needed to take this off, it looks like there's 1 bolt here in the front, 1 bolt back here, and there are a few bolts on the bottom that releases the whole top plate. And up front, we have plenty of camera protection from the side, in the front, and around the side. And again, I did try to balance this on a light pole, and I disarmed on top of a light pole, and I kind of came down and scratched the front of my lens, and a little bit of damage there, but you can see hitting the rocks, like that's the only damage aside from scratching my camera. And one of the reasons that I scratched my camera was because I should have had a lens cover on it. So if you guys are flying any type of DJI 03 cameras at all, you should definitely have some type of UV filter over it, or a PL filter, maybe a polarizer, to avoid from doing what I just did. On the bottom of this quad, we have this little cage right here. There's 4 bolts. They're M2 bolts that release this and will allow you to get to your DJI 03 VTX. It is kind of crammed in there. I just tucked the wires all up inside there. They do have an access port on this side for the USB-C and the micro SD card, which is pretty accessible. Plenty of room there, no problem. When you're assembling yours, don't do what I did by putting the VTX antenna back through here. These 2 bolts right here come off. I had my prop almost hitting this right here as it passes through. There's a spot on the top of this frame right here. That's where this antenna should come through. This little hole right here is made for the antenna. Don't do like I did and put it out the back. It does give it a lower clearance if you want to skirt through smaller gaps, but if you want to make sure your wires don't get chopped, they should go up inside the frame instead of outside the bottom like I did. So don't be like me and do it the right way out this hole, and you should be good to go. But overall, let's talk about the tune on the flight controller. It is an AIO, so it's all on one board. The tune is good. I didn't see a lot of vibration at the highest end of my throttle. It will power loop. It will do flips and rolls and freestyle, very similar to something its size that is made to do cinema or made to do freestyle. It just has those downward facing motors, and many people don't like the downward facing motors for freestyle. But I pushed this one on 4S because I have the extra power there with the brand new motors, and being able to run 4S on something with 2.5-inch props, yeah, it rips. So I would pretty much do any split S's around the yard with it, around any of the trees or even the grapevines and the trellis. I'm able to do that. I'm also able to just find gaps at speed as well, because it does feel very controlled, which is really nice around the backyard. But then when I want to go inside also, it's slowed down. If you want to bring the camera down, you can really slow it down a lot. Just bring your camera all the way down to level if you're doing some type of real estate. If you're doing freestyle outside, just ripping in your backyard and you want to do power loops, you can bring it all the way up to like 35 degrees on that tilt. So, I mean, my final thoughts on the CineHawk Mini is that if you decide to buy this one, you're going to get a couple different things. First of all, you're going to be able to cinema, and you're going to be able to freestyle it out in the backyard. It's a backyard ripper. If you don't want to go anywhere, get in your car, drive anywhere, you want to just fly at home, you have a decent sized backyard, you'll be able to do it with this one. If you want to freestyle in the backyard, you'll be able to do it with this one. And you'll be able to do it better than HGLRC Talon. I loved flying the Talon. Talon was sweet. It looks a little nicer. I believe it's a little nicer made. Emax tries to make things more affordable for people. HGLRC does make some really fantastic quads, and this was kind of a level up. This is almost like iFlight style quality, and they're doing that carbon composite frame, which is nice. You don't get that on the CineHawk Mini, but at the end of the day, my pure enjoyment factor was higher on the CineHawk Mini. So while I love this one was fun for what it is, for a little tiny 2-inch. Just going 2.5-inch just gives me that extra freedom around the yard to be able to feel like I'm ripping like a 3.5-inch, but have that small portable size out in the backyard. That is pretty cool. So I think if you were to take this on a trip, 7-minute flight time on a 4S 850 pack, and then you could bring along probably, bring yourself a battery lipo bag with like 8 lipos in there, out to the beach or wherever you're going. If you're traveling overseas, this one would be super, super fun. You can make some great lines with it and do some freestyle at the same time. Cinema, freestyle, whatever you want to do. This thing is, I feel like it's cheap to run. It flies great. And my fun factor was like 5 out of 5. So I'm going to give this one like 4.8 stars out of 5. It is really, really fun. And it probably took me about 25 minutes to add my DJI 3 on the bottom inside the cage. So it just plugs into the flight controller as an HD flight controller, and you're on your way to flying some DJI 3. So hopefully DJI will give us that firmware update soon so we can use our DJI Goggles 3 on the O3s. Come on, DJI. Our whole community's waiting on you guys to do that, and all the Avata owners that want to start flying FPV freestyle outside in Avata too. Come on, DJI. Let's get it together. But great release from Emax, and congratulations to anybody who grabbed one of these today, because you're going to love it. It's a freaking sweet quad. And yeah, today's the day. It just came out. First batch is on the website. And after today, who knows, they might be sold out pretty quickly. But again, thanks for watching the channel, guys. Stay tuned to what's new on this channel, because the company sent us all the good stuff to review and show you. Show and tell here on the channel, guys. Take care, and I will definitely see you on the next one.